Hello, I'm Dr Brun. If you don't know me, I'm one of the GPs at Elmham Surgery. I'd like to talk to you briefly about some helpful tools and techniques that can help you if you're struggling with mood problems, particularly anxiety or low mood. You may be watching this as a follow-on to another short talk I've done, or perhaps you've spoken to me or one of my colleagues and we've advised you to consider if these tools may be helpful for you. I'd like to start by explaining what mindfulness is and how it can help. This is only a short overview. There's a lot more information and help online about this, as well as through various organisations, charities and websites, which I've outlined at the end. Mindfulness is a helpful tool which has been practiced for hundreds of years to reduce anxiety, be more peaceful, and help us cope better with difficult thoughts, feelings, and even challenging situations. It essentially stops us getting caught up in our thoughts and rushing through life without stopping to notice much. We can easily switch onto autopilot or zone out or be miles away, whatever you want to call it, and not notice or listen to what's going on around us. And often when we are miles away or in autopilot, our anxious or low thoughts and feelings will quickly appear. Mindfulness teaches us to live in the present, to be more aware of the world around us, of sights, sounds, feelings, textures and tastes. If you've watched my short talk on anxiety, you may remember I gave the example of a postman arriving at your door. Imagine you're at home, overwhelmed with anxious thoughts and feelings that are whizzing through your head. Suddenly the doorbell rings and the postman arrives asking for directions to another house. You stop, think, explain carefully where he needs to go and chat briefly to him. Perhaps you notice the colour of his uniform, his accent, the mud splashes on the side of his van. He thanks you and off he goes. During that couple of minutes, most people would find their anxiety lessens a little bit. And that's because they've come out of autopilot. They're no longer miles away in their own thoughts. They're back to the present, to the here and now. That's a very simple and basic example of mindfulness. There are a few simple exercises you can try to help you live more mindfully. Firstly, try becoming more aware of your body senses. Perhaps try this while you're outside walking. Notice the feel of the wind on your cheeks. Is it warm? Is it cold? Notice the sound of the birdsong. Perhaps of children playing, people talking. Perhaps the sound of your footsteps on the ground. Look at the trees as you walk by. Perhaps notice the dog being taken for a walk, the colour of its hair. Notice the berry bushes as you walk past. Perhaps look at the little veins on the leaves and the shiny texture of the berries. Perhaps you might like to try this while you're in the house, while you're eating. Slow down, smell the food first. Let it gently touch your lips and notice its texture. Move it round your mouth, picking up all the different aspects of its taste, its bitterness or sweetness, its saltiness. Try this before chewing it slowly and then swallowing it. Mindfulness doesn't have to take lots of time. Try it as part of your everyday activities or chores. Perhaps whilst having a shower, notice the feel of the water on your skin. Notice the beauty and colour of the bubbles, the smell of the soap. The more you practice it, the easier and more natural it becomes, and the less frequent and powerful the anxious or low thoughts are, constantly popping into your mind. Secondly, you could try some simple body awareness and relaxation exercises. Try focusing on your breathing. This is helpful for many reasons, but I'm just going to outline two. Firstly, it is mindful. Focusing on the here and now, not worrying about the future or thinking back to the past and having regrets. Secondly, when we're anxious, our flight and fight response kicks in, which I've spoken about before. This tends to make our breathing shallow and fast, which can actually make us feel more anxious. The opposite reaction in our body to the flight, fright and fight response is the rest and digest response. This allows us to relax, to recharge, and to digest our food better. Deep, slow breathing is a helpful way of allowing this rest and digest response to kick in. So try breathing in slowly, perhaps through your nose, while counting to 8. Be aware all the time of the feel of your breath as it makes its way up through your nose, down your airways, into your lungs. Feel your chest expand slowly. If you like, you can imagine it going all the way through your body to the tips of your toes. Now slowly breathe out, counting to 8. Feel it slowly coming back out again, making its way out of your lungs, your chest settling down again, the movement of air through your mouth. You might be able to slow this down. We aim to get people to breathe in counting to 8 and breathe out counting to 11, but this can take a bit of practice. Mindfulness also involves paying attention to what's happening inside us as well as around us. It involves being more aware of our body, noticing, without becoming completely absorbed in, our thoughts. Imagine, if you will, you're stood at a busy railway station. There are trains arriving and departing from and to various different destinations on lots of platforms. It's a very busy place. Now imagine the train station represents your mind, and those trains all represent anxious or low thoughts. Thoughts such as, I'm useless and never going to amount to anything, or something bad is going to happen to those I love, or what if I never make new friends in this new area, or what if my panicky feelings mean I've actually got a dreadful disease and I'm going to die? It's easy to become all consumed with these thoughts and allow them to take hold in our minds. That's a bit like jumping aboard one of those trains and riding it wherever it goes, allowing the thoughts to get carried away with themselves. But mindfulness teaches you to stand at the station, on the platform, and just observe and name the trains without getting on. For example, oh, here comes the thought that I'm no good again. It's just a thought, it'll pass. Or, here comes the anxious feeling, the racing heart, and now that thought again that perhaps I'll pass out or die. Okay, it's my flight, fight and fright response kicking in. It'll pass, it can't harm me. I'll do my breathing exercises. Sometimes naming our thoughts and feelings allows us to step back from them and helps to reduce the hold they have like talking. Perhaps this is nothing to do with me at all, but more to do with them. How do I feel now? I feel a bit better, not so sad, low or worthless. This is a very simple exercise. There is a lot more help that you can get from different types of talking therapy. What I've tried to briefly illustrate is how our thoughts and feelings can, if we let them, have a strong and negative impact on our lives and our mood. But this can be challenged with some simple techniques that have been shown time and time again to really help us. So I'd encourage you to perhaps considering self-referring yourself to wellbeing if you'd like some more support in this area. Or you may also just like to explore the resources I've listed at the end. Goodbye.